Hello friends, today in this tutorial I'll be showing you that how to build a very basic login authentication system using Flask-Login library. Let me start this application. You will see that the application has started on port number 5000, and basically this will be a simplest of user authentication system with all the features such as logout, login features. So we just need to go to the /login route here. If you just go to this route, let me refresh it. You will now see there will be you will be seeing a simple login form out there. Here you will enter in your email address and password. If you see inside the Flask app, guys, inside Flask login, we have initialized these four users out there. This is the first user having a dummy user, dummy email ID, and then we have the password. So four users we have just created a Python dictionary and we are inserted four users out there. So these are the four valid users out there. This is the first user, second user, third user, fourth user. Each user has a email address and a correct password. So now if I write here in a email address which matches here, kikigautam1997 @gmail.com, and the password 123456. So as you can see, this record is there inside our record here. This is the first record. If I now click submit, you will now see you are logged in as geekygautam1997 @gmail.com, and we have got a logout button hyperlink also. If I now click this button, we will be redirected back to the login page. And now if I want to go to the protected route, I can't go directly to it. You can see you are unauthorized. You can't go. The server could not verify that you are authorized to access the URL requested. You either supplied the wrong credentials, such as bad password, or your browser doesn't understand how to supply the. So you can't access that page. So now we just need to go to the login page, and here once again, let's suppose I supply a incorrect email address. So this email address is not mentioned here. If you see, this email address is not mentioned here. So if I click submit, I will get this error out there. I cannot log in. So now let's suppose I entered this one, john@gmail.com. I will enter john@gmail.com, but I entered the wrong password. So you will see it will not let me enter. So now if I write john@gmail.com and enter the password, which is the correct password, john123456. If I write this, click submit, you will now see you are logged in as john@gmail.com. So click on logout, you will now see. So it's a complete authentication system, guys, and you can even connect this system to a real-time database such as SQLite or MongoDB or MySQL. All the data should be coming from a database. So in this case, we are just taking a simple Python dictionary of dummy users. Here you can insert your dummy users, like insert the email address and password. So we are making use of a special library of Flask, which in order to make this authentication system, which is called as Flask-Login. Basically, it has its own website, Flask-Login. It's a special package which makes user session management very easy in Flask. It handles the very common task of logging in, logging out, and remembering your user's functionality as well over extended period of time. So it has got a nice little documentation. Various examples are also given. So I have written a complete blog post where I have given all the source code of this application. So if you want to follow along with that video, if you're watching it, you can go to the description of this video to go to this blog post and copy paste all the source code. So now we will get started. In order to get started, we will delete all the files here and start from scratch. So I will simply delete this. Let me also delete this folder as well. Let me delete this. So it is just deleting it. So now nothing is there. So it's perfect slate out there. So now you just need to make app.py file, guys, and just go to the command line, and here you need to install first of all Flask, which is needed for this application, and also Flask-Login. So these are the two dependencies which are needed for this application, guys. I have already installed both these dependencies, so I will not install it once again. So now we just need to start the basic Flask server, guys, here inside this file. So what I will do is that I will simply copy paste the source code uh, step by step. So let me just paste it inside my notepad file. So the very first thing we need to do, guys, we need to first of all import from the Flask library. We need to import the base Flask library and render template also in order to render dynamic templates. In order to redirect the user, we will just import this redirect and also URL for. And also we will be importing the Flask-Login package. From that, we just need to import the login manager class, login user, which is used to log in the user, logout user, which is used to logout user. So all these methods are pre-built inside this library, so which makes it very much easier to work with. And login require, which is kind of a decorator. So login required. So these dependencies you just need to import. After this, we will be initializing our Flask app, guys. So we will simply pass the name out there, and then we will initialize the login manager. So just make login manager variable, and this will be equal to login manager constructor. And here we will initialize the login manager app here using init app, and inside this we will pass basically the Flask app. And now we just need to start this Flask application, guys. For now, for starting this application, we will simply follow the basic approach. If name is equal to main, and then we will set the secret key. First of all, app.secret key. You can just set it to any key of your choice. I will set it secret key. After this, we will run this app, pass the debug option to be true, like this. So whenever you make any sort of changes, it will automatically restart the application. So this is basically the base template. If I now run this file here, python app.py, you will see that our application will be started on localhost 5000. If I now go to that application, nothing will happen because we haven't written the routes. So now we just need to handle some routes out there. For handling the routes, we will basically make a simple route app.route, and inside this we will make a simple login route. So whenever we go to this login route, we will simply basically have two methods. Either it can be a get method or post method. We will handle both the scenarios here, and inside this we will have a simple login method. And inside this, first of all, we will check, or we will first of all load the template using render template, and inside this we will pass our login.html. So anytime, guys, we use render template, we just need to make a templates folder. So all the templates will be stored inside your templates folder. So Flask automatically looks inside the templates folder. So now we just need to make login.html. So this will be a simplest form, guys, where we will be showing the user this simple form out there. So if you go to my blog post, I have written that source code for showing that. So that's why I'm just telling you need to go to the description of the video basically to copy paste these static codes out there. So I will not waste the time writing this HTML code. It basically contains a simple form. Method is post. We have two input fields for the email address and password. We have given name attributes to it of email and password. This is mandatory. And then we have a submit button. And now if I now go to the /login route, you will now see basically we just need to refresh the application for this. So it is saying that missing user loader or request loader. So this is very important, guys. Inside Flask-Login, you first of all need to set these decorator functions before you make any sort of request. So before you make any sort of request, you just need to set our data for the application. In this scenario, the data will be the set of users, dummy users. So here you can just declare a dictionary out there. in order to declare a dictionary in Python, these can be anything. In single quotes, you put the email address of the user, and then basically colon, and then inside parentheses or curly brackets you put the password property. So password may be, let's suppose 1234566, put a comma, and then we will have the second person which will have basically the email address. So we can have like this, again have the password. So basically you can put the password as like this. This can be anything. So I have two records out there for now. So we now have the dummy list of users. So basically now we just need to declare the class here, which will be responsible, which will contain various methods out there. In order to initialize this library, we will pass the self and the email. So self email will be equal to the email which is passed here. Then we will have the second method, which is for the authenticated, and here we will pass the self, and this will return true. So this class is necessary, guys. Whenever you are working with Flask-Login, you need to declare this class, and this class will have various methods that I'm writing right here. Is active, if the user is active or not. Inside this, it will just return true like this. And the last method, I think, yeah, is anonymous. Anonymous, ANONYOMS. Anonymous self return false. And then we will have the function to get the ID. And basically this will just return the, in this case the ID is email address, so that's why we are returning the email of the person. So it is not mandatory that you put this class out there, but it's a very good practice that you declared this class. So now the thing, we were getting the error because we haven't declared this decorator, which is login manager, and it contains this user loader, and here we just need to define the user. So here we just need to define the function. Inside that we will load the email address, and here we will simply compare. If the email address is not present inside our users dictionary, in that case we will simply return a message that email not exist, like this. And then if the email exists, then we will initialize the user, pass the email address. So basically this will call this constructor function out there, this class, and this basically will as soon as you initialize this email, this constructor will automatically execute, and here self email will be equal to the email address which you are passing here. After that, it will, you will just need to return the user from this function like this. That's all. And now if you just write this, now what will happen? If you now refresh your application, now if you go to the login route, if you put the correct email address, this is your password, click on submit, nothing happens because we haven't written the post request. You can see that now if I go to the /login route, we are showing the login page. So now we just need to handle the situation. Whenever we click the submit button, we need to just write the post request. So whenever we click the submit button, a post request will be made to the same route, which is /login. So we will need to handle the post request now. So for handling it, we first of all need to, here inside this, we need to handle it inside this if block. We will compare the method here, if request.method is double equal to post. In that case, and here basically if you see, we need to import this from the Flask module. So you will see that from the Flask we have successfully imported the request module like this. So just import this. And here we are just comparing if the method is post. In that case, we just need to fetch the email that the user has written. So request dot form and whatever is the name attribute. So if you see, we have given the name attribute, which is email address, like this. So we will get access to the email which the email has uh, entered. After this, we will simply compare if request.form password is double equal to users, whichever dictionary, and here we will simply pass the email address, and then we will simply pass the password value like this. So here we are just comparing it with the dictionary that we have declared out there, guys. So we are just comparing the password value like this. You will see that this can also be coming from a real database as well. So if the information is correct, then we will simply initialize the user, and we will make use of this login user. We will log in the user, pass the user here, and then we will redirect the user. In order to redirect it, we will use the redirect method, and after this, inside this, we will pass URL for, and here we will pass our uh, route. So here we will make use of the protected route. So we just need to initialize this route. So if the method is get, then we will show this login page, login.html. If the method is post, then we will redirect the user back to the protected route if the information is correct. So now what will happen, guys, you will now see we just need to initialize this route. So app.route slash protected. So inside this, we will put this decorator, which is login required. So this simply means that in order for this request to be made, the user must be a valid user, such that the user must be logged in first. This is defined by that, and after that we will make use of our function. Inside this, we will simply return a template to the user with the use of render template, and here we will simply pass protected HTML. So now inside the templates folder, we just need to create another template which is protected HTML, and here we will display the currently logged in user, guys. If you go to my blog post, I have given that code as well. Let me just paste that code here. It's the simplest. In double quotes, insert double curly brackets, we are displaying the current logged in user, which is current user dot email, and then we have a simple href tag which goes to the slash logout, which is a logout button out there. If I now execute this application, so what will happen if I now enter the correct email address and password? So just refresh it, just start the application. So basically now if you enter the correct email password, I think password in this case I have configured, which is 123456. So 123456. You are logged in as Geeky Gautam, you can see that, and then we have got the logout button out there. So as soon as we click the logout button, guys, you can see we have redirected to the slash protected route. If I click logout, not found, you can see that the requested URL was not found. We need to now execute that request because we haven't configured this for this route here. So we just need to make a simple route here which will handle this logout process for us. This will be two lines of code which will be required. App.route, we will make this route which is slash logout, and inside this, guys, we will define a function which is logout function, and inside this, first of all, we will call this function which will actually log out the user, which is present inside the Flask-Login package. After that, we will redirect the user. We will simply say redirect, and inside this we will say URL for. We will redirect the user to the login page. That's all. So now if you refresh your application, if you just start this, If you go to the login page, if you enter the correct email password, you are logged in. Now if I click the logout button, I will be redirected back to the login page. Like this, you will see that. So now the logout process is also over, guys. So I think the application is now complete. This is all the application which is required for this. So all the step-by-step instruction I have given in the description of this video, guys. Hopefully you will like this video. Please hit that like button, subscribe the channel, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Until then, thank you very much.